Hey guys, we're trying this again, take two for my live stream on when should you reach out and lean forward with a man. Everyone was saying they couldn't hear me the first time, so I'm just gonna get started and hopefully you guys can hear me this time. I plugged my headphones in. So I got a lot of questions yesterday in the comment sections of a lot of my videos on this topic on, when should you lean forward and reach out to a man? And it's something I get asked all the time. It can be really confusing and it can cause us to go up in our heads and start thinking constantly. And if you guys can let me know if you can hear me this time, that would be fantastic. So I wanted to give you a couple questions to ask yourself when you're wondering this, like, should you lean forward and reach out to a man? Because it's an important thing. And I see women all the time like going up in their heads, and that's kind of keeping them out of their feminine energy too, overthinking. Hi, you guys, can you hear me this time? This is take two. If you could just let me know in the chat. I plugged my headphones in. Hopefully it's working. There's like always some issue with the sound. It's like different every time. So I'm just gonna keep going unless someone can tell you. Oh, thank you so much, Lauren, TC, Infinite Queen. Thank you so much. I don't know what was happening the first time. But I'm glad it's working now. So yeah, so I was telling everyone when we were getting started that I got so many questions yesterday asking this question, and I recorded a bunch of videos yesterday on, answering questions from some of the comments, because that's how I, get content for a lot of my videos now, the questions that you guys ask. And I was uploading them today, and for some reason this was the only topic that didn't have sound, so I just figured I would do a live stream really quick on this. So I'm just going to jump right in. I want to give you 3 questions to ask yourself. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. This is so much fun. 3 questions to ask yourself before you reach out and lean forward that'll help hopefully give you some clarity around this, because like I said, I know it can be confusing sometimes, especially if you're just starting to date a guy and you're not quite in a relationship yet and you don't know, like, when should I be leaning forward? When should I be leaning back? So the first question is his energy coming towards you consistently, right? A lot of times, women ask me this question, like, should I reach out to him? Should I text him? Should I say something? And it's because his energy has not been coming towards her, or, maybe it was for a little while, but it like disappeared, right? Like he was coming on strong and pursuing her, and now for some reason he backed off and isn't coming on as strong. And so that's when it can kind of stir something up in us and cause us to want to lean forward in those moments. So I would say if his energy has not been coming towards you consistently, that's a big clue to lean back, take your focus off of him, and just focus on yourself and your own life, doing something that's really fun and that makes you happy. That's the first question. In general, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, and I know every situation is unique, but for the most part, his energy should be coming towards you pretty consistently. So the second question to ask yourself is, how are you feeling in this moment? The truth is, if you're feeling super confident and a guy's interested, or he's crazy about you, you can really do anything. That's the fantastic thing about this work. You can really do anything when you're coming from that super confident feeling place where you just know a guy's into you, and nothing you really say or do is gonna like push him away. I know you guys have experienced that before, right? Type that into the comment section. When you just know that a guy likes you, he's pursuing you, and one little text or leaning forward on your part is not going to push him away. However, most women coming to me or watching my videos or looking for relationship or dating advice are not at that super confident feeling place. They're usually feeling anxious often, or insecure about where they stand with a man, and they want to lean forward and either start a conversation about the relationship or just get back in contact with him or reconnect things. And that's when you're coming from a place of anxiety or lack or insecurity, leaning forward in that moment typically will push that guy further away. I have certainly experienced that. Maybe you guys can relate. Has anyone done that? Has anyone ever leaned forward with a man when they were coming from a place of lack and you didn't get the response you were hoping for? It's just the worst feeling ever. I know I hear from clients all the time who, tell me about that after the fact. They said they leaned forward, and then Monica says, absolutely, yeah, we've all been there, right? they lean forward and then they, they email me after and they say, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do that again. I learned my lesson, right? Lauren says, when I do lean forward with my guy, he definitely told me to relax. Yeah, so like I mentioned, if you're feeling really confident and a man is super into you, you can do anything. I mean, you can do everything that I say not to do. You could call him up, you can ask him to hang out, invite him over. If you know for sure that he's not going anywhere. That's the great thing. However, like I said, most women looking for advice in this area are usually not at that place, right? That's when I suggest leaning back and experiencing what it's like just receiving a man's energy and love and affection. That's where I say bring it back to zero, and just when in doubt, just lean back in your feminine energy and see what this man does. Sort of let go of this desire to like make something happen constantly with a man. Once you let some of that go and stop trying to make things happen, first thing that happens usually is your perception clears up and you're able to see this man and the situation for what it really is, right? So that's the second question. Where are you coming from? I always talk about this great quote that I love, that any action coming from a place of lack is always counterproductive, and it always leads to more feelings of lack. And I know I certainly have been there. Really, that goes for any area of your life, but especially in dating and relationships. Yeah, Steve, agreed, not going anywhere. Tiffany says, that's so true. Stop trying to make things happen. Absolutely. Christina says, hi, Helena, I'm feeling a little bummed. I met someone I really like. Lean back, followed your advice. But he hasn't been leaning forward. Yeah, so the point of leaning back is not to make a guy do something. The point of all of my tools and the advice I give is not to make a guy do something. It's to see what he's got, right? It's to see what he's really capable of all on his own without any kind of prompting or pressure or moving things along on your end. So Christina, if it's been less than like 3 months, I always say you can't really tell what a guy is going to do for the long term until about after 3 or 4 months in. Of course, every situation is different, but some men get caught up in the moment and, their energy is coming towards you really strongly. And then the reality of the situation might hit him and they have kind of like a sobering moment where they realize that maybe they can't give you what you want, or you're on different pages, or they're just not feeling as intensely as they were. That's why I always recommend not getting overly invested in a man until you know for sure that he's not going anywhere, like Steve said, right? Yes, I love it. Okay, thank you guys so much for your comments. Let's see, can you do a video on trusting a man to meet your needs and wants? I feel the need to remind men about my needs and wants several times and make plans to ensure they get met. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the suggestion, Monica. I love it. Christina says, still making an effort to meet new people, but this man really set the bar high because I liked everything he said. I'm down but not out. Yeah, I mean, Christina, if you can just see this as evidence that what you want is out there, that there are men who you are attracted to and excited about, and just see that as evidence that you're just getting one step closer to what you want. So I'll move on to question number 3, and I should have written these down. I want to make sure I'm putting them in the right order. Question number 3 is, do you have an agenda? Meaning, are you going to reach out because you're trying to make something happen? And a little bonus question I'm going to throw into this one is, if you don't get the response you were hoping for, are you going to be super disappointed or devastated or heartbroken, right? Great question to ask yourself before you reach out. What am I hoping will happen here? And if I don't get the response I'm hoping for, am I going to be really disappointed? If the answer is yes, it's a big clue to not reach out. Monica says, thank you. You're so amazing. I binge on your videos. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so glad they've been helpful. It's just, I didn't expect like any of this, you guys. It was just like so amazing. I was just going to upload a couple of videos to put them on my website, and that was going to be it. And I just kept getting requests to do more. So I'm just like keeping it going because this is just so much fun. So yeah, so that's the third one. A lot of times we can kind of delude ourselves into thinking we don't care. I used to do this maybe like 10 years ago with an ex-boyfriend I had. I would just go, oh, I don't care. I'll just reach out and text him. And then I would kind of like lose sleep, obsessively checking my phone all night to see if he texts back. So obviously I was not at that place where I was not attached to the outcome or the result. obviously I was super attached to the outcome because there was so much resistance. I kept checking my phone. I felt super devastated that he didn't text me back. So you really want to be honest with yourself. If you don't get the response you're hoping for, if you're going to be super disappointed, it's a clue that there's just a lot of forward-leaning energy mentally on your part here, and that's a big clue to take your focus off of him and off of the situation for now and just see what happens. I know you guys have experienced that once you truly, take your focus off of a man, typically that's when you hear from him. I know you guys have experienced that, right? Type it into the comment section. It's just kind of the way it works because the pathway between the two of you is kind of clear and free of resistance. And so that's usually when you hear from a guy, right? So Laura says, can you do a video on how to talk to men? I don't always know how to have emotional conversations. Yeah, you're the second person today to ask me that. So I will definitely do that. What are your thoughts on again, off again relationships? Is it best to let the man pursue? Yeah, I'm so familiar with on again, off again. That was definitely my pattern. Lauren, obviously without knowing your situation, I would say if a man backs off once, okay, that's like a little bit of a red flag. If he keeps backing off, like if he comes close and then he goes away and you guys get close and then it's a little too much for him and then he backs off, huge red flag. The right man will just come towards you and just stay there and you can't like shake him off of you. You can feel the difference, right? Yeah, there's only so much intimacy and closeness that we can all tolerate, right? So if you can tolerate like this much closeness, but a man can only tolerate this much closeness, every time he gets close and that gap gets close, he's gonna feel that it's gonna be uncomfortable for him and he's gonna want to back off again. That happens a lot with on again, off again relationships. So yeah, I would definitely lean back. Okay, good. I'm glad that was helpful. Yes, Christina, I was just smitten. Oh, well, another knucklehead bites the dust. Moving on. Yeah, Christina, you might find that once you truly move on and let go, then you'll hear from him. That happens all the time. I can't even tell you how often I hear about that happening. So that's basically what I had for today. I don't want to, I didn't want to keep you guys on here forever, but I just wanted to do a quick video since the one I recorded yesterday on this had no sound, and I just realized that right now. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that was a helpful explanation. So the 3 questions are, first one, is this man's energy been coming towards you consistently? If the answer is yes, sure, go ahead and reach out, right? Especially if the answer to number 2 is also yes. Are you coming from a really super confident feeling place? Or are you coming from a place of lack or anxiety or insecurity and you're wanting to like reach out to alleviate that anxiety? Big clue that you're not coming from a place of abundance. You want to lean back, take your focus off of him completely. However, if his energy is coming towards you, if you're feeling really confident, absolutely, you can do anything if those 2 things are happening. Third question, do you have an agenda? Are you trying to make something happen? And are you going to feel super disappointed and devastated if you don't get the response you were hoping for? So important, and you really want to be honest with yourself here. I know it can be easy to tell yourself you don't really care what happens, but then once you actually do lean forward and reach out and you don't hear back, or you get like a really small or short response back, or it takes them a long time to reply, if that's going to totally devastate you or make you feel, terrible, then don't do it, right? So let's see. I thought this was only my situation. Yeah, this is a really, really common situation, right? Someone asked, define consistently. It depends. Everyone has a different preference for how often they want to be in contact, right? For some women, in order to be exclusive with a man, they need to hear from them every day or talk to them just about every day and see them a certain number of times a week. For other women, maybe they don't need that much contact. So what feels good to you? Everyone type that in. How often do you like to hear from the man you're dating? Now, if you just met this guy, you've just only been out with him a few times, you're at a stage where you want to just see what he does. You're just watching him a little more dispassionately, right? Without trying to like steer things in a certain direction. You want him to show you who he is and what he's got and what he's capable of and his interest level without you trying to like move things along and make things happen, right? But if you're in a relationship, exclusive relationship, then you're kind of, you have a little more leverage in a sense, because in a sense you're kind of, he's asked you to be exclusive, so he's kind of letting you know that he wants to be the man that meets all of those needs. Yeah, someone says you want to hear from them daily, see them weekly. Yeah, that's pretty common. Everyone asks me like, what's a normal amount of contact, and I never really know how to answer that, because for some women, you know, they don't need the daily contact, and some do. So yeah, how to open up and have emotional conversations. Okay, I will do a video on that. I've been getting a lot of questions that, so I'll definitely do that. I might have some, but I feel like I should do some more that goes a little deeper. You've helped me. I believe I've seen most of your videos. Thank you for blessing us. You're welcome. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. Someone says they want to hear from a guy every day. What do you do when men gives you advice and we don't like it? We feel that we know better. Oh, that's a great question. I actually just recorded one of the videos I recorded yesterday was about that. So I'll be posting that soon. If you can thank them for their advice, and appreciate it and not shoot it down, you don't necessarily have to take it or do what, you know, they think you should do, but just, you know, oh, I appreciate your advice. It feels good to hear your opinion. Doesn't mean that you're committing to doing it, right? I only see my man once a week for 2 to 3 hours. We've been together 15 months. I'm waiting for him to come forward, as you mentioned. Yeah, so if you, let's see, we've been together 15 months. That's a good amount of time to be together. So you want to make sure before you become exclusive with a man that you have some of these conversations, right? You don't want to be trapped in a situation like, well, I've been dating this guy a year and a half, and I don't see him as often as I'd like. Usually you should, you know, before you become exclusive, you want to make sure you're on the same page. And if that's not happening already, don't become exclusive with a man until you know for sure that he's not going to leave you hanging. Like, one of the worst feelings is being exclusive with someone so you can't date other men and you're not like getting what you need from him. It's a terrible feeling. I don't want anyone to be stuck in that situation. Oh my gosh, so many questions are popping up. I was trying to keep this to like 15 minutes, but I have a few more minutes so I can answer some of these. Would you do more personal Q&A? I love to hear more about you. Yeah, so Monica, I actually answer personal questions every week in the Goddess Club. It's you can go to feminineenchantment.com. I'll post a link to that once the replay is posted. And I answer personal questions, like it's in a private setting. So it's all online. It's like on an online forum. If you guys have really personal questions and you don't feel comfortable putting it out here on YouTube, I totally get that. Okay, there's so many questions. I have to scroll back up. Let's see. Amanda says, what if you're long distance and he's pulling away? Haven't heard from him since yesterday. It was only a few texts because he was going out with his buddies. If you haven't heard from him since yesterday, it hasn't even been 24 hours, just lean back and see what happens. Or, you know, ask yourself these questions that I gave. Maybe you're new to the video, or like you're just joining now. But the questions are, you know, is his energy coming towards you consistently for the most part, right? Do you feel super confident, or are you coming from a place of lack, right? If you're coming from a place of lack, I would keep leaning back, taking your focus off of him. Third question is, do you have an agenda? Or if you reach out and you don't hear back from him in time, or if you don't get the response you were hoping for, are you going to be feeling really devastated and disappointed or angry in your case because it's a long distance relationship? Ask yourself those questions before doing anything. That will help you a lot. Let's see, never been in a relationship. It's my first real relationship with a man. Do you have any advice on how to get a man to ask for exclusivity if he hasn't asked for it? How long have you been dating him, and what's the situation? Like, do you know that he wants to be in a relationship? I need a little more info on that. Seeing my guy once a week for a few months, then he had his mom pass. Oh, it's been 2 months since I've seen him. Our first date was for like 2 months. Yeah, it's really hard when you start dating a guy, you're in the early stages still, and then something big happens. He loses his job, or family member, you know, gets sick or passes away. It's so sad. Sometimes you have to kind of give him time to process those things. So I wouldn't take it personally if he's been backing off or pulling away in that situation. Men are so single focused that they can get flooded, my gosh, especially in that situation, they can get flooded with strong emotions, and they can only deal with one thing at a time. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, great question. Let's see, I should be initiating contact. Should I be initiating, leaning back tonight on our first date since 2 months? Yeah, when in doubt, you guys, just lean back. You can never go wrong by leaning back. That's the space and softness combination that I always talk about. Lean back into your feminine energy. Don't try to make things happen, and keep your heart and your energy open to him at the same time. It's kind of the opposite of what we feel compelled to do sometimes, especially if we're feeling triggered or we haven't heard from a guy. Typically, we want to shut ourselves down emotionally and lean forward and make something happen. So when I talk about space and softness, talk about that a lot in Feminine Enchantment. It's the whole program I have on that. And that's where I answer questions every Thursday as well. So you guys might want to check that out. Space and softness is so important. Every single interaction you have with a man, you can ask yourself, where's the space? Where's the softness? Hello to everybody who's just joining. Amanda says, I would probably feel frustrated today. Yeah, great. So that's amazing having that awareness around that. So just lean back. Do something fun for yourself. Take your attention off of him. Let's see. He only seems to respond when I text him. It's like he waits for me to text, and then he responds right away. Yeah, he might be used to that dynamic. If you're the one that always initiates contact, sometimes it takes men a little while to get in the habit of doing something new. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. He's probably just used to it. So when he does initiate, of course, I don't know the specifics of your situation, but when you do hear from him first, let him know how good that feels. And then, you want to use that positive reinforcement, that acknowledgement and appreciation that I always talk about. And that will encourage it, the dynamic to shift a little more in the opposite direction, if that's something you want. What to do in another video, what to do when you have, or lately had a hectic work schedule. When you have a hectic work schedule, or when he does, and so he hasn't been here, when you have, maybe if you could clarify that. Yeah, I can do a video on that for sure. Sally says, I needed to be reminded to be in this energy. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Lauren asks, what does softness look like? Oh, great question. Yeah, it looks like just literally, like, if you guys can imagine, just think about a man really quick. Everybody go up in your head and think about some man that you like or that you used to like, and feel your thoughts kind of spinning. You can get maybe into obsession or feeling anxious. Now just drop all of those thoughts down. Imagine dropping them down into your body and just lean back physically. I can't do it too much because I have my headphones in, and see what that feels like. Right? Just lean back physically, mentally, by just dropping your thoughts into your body. See if you can notice some body sensations that come up, any feelings that come up. And that's it, really. You don't have to do anything. It's sometimes just stopping doing all the things like leaning forward physically, mentally, and emotionally. Once you stop that, you just become softer. Your body becomes softer. You become an invitation that a man's going to want to step towards, right? Oops, gosh, this thing keeps disappearing. Let's see. She says, similar question. Long distance man was forward leaning, planning the future with me, then lost his job and had major financial issues. Yeah, it's such a common situation. When a guy loses his job or something, there's been some major loss in his life. A lot of times they go into their man cave. It's like, especially with the job, oh my gosh, it's like such a hard thing for a guy to deal with. So I totally, like, my heart goes out to you. Giving him, letting him know that you're there for him if he needs you, but also giving him the space to sort things out on his own, not constantly trying to like jump in and tell him what he should do and help him out. That's where you want to go there. So hi, Fiona. Let's see. Oh, I do. I've been crazy busy lately. Yeah, you can let him know that. But do you want to let the guy know that you've been really busy? Is that your question? Okay, my friend told me he likes me and admires me. We dated and he shows his affection, though he is in a relationship with his cousin. What should I do? He seems to be in a forbidden relationship. I would stay away from that situation. First, if he's in any relationship, I would just make yourself available to men who are totally available. If you're stuck on a man who's not available, you're kind of like sending this signal out that you are okay being second best, right? That you don't deserve your own man. And you just don't want to be putting that energy out there. That's my opinion on that. Girls are great. Your videos have helped me a lot with this long distance relationship journey. Yes, thank you. I'm so happy that's been helpful. I've been with him for a year and a half, and he wants to marry me. He's really scared of my mom saying no to marry me. He hasn't asked her yet for more than a year and a half. Okay. You know what? I'll do a video on how to have some of these like tough conversations with a man. And maybe that'll help. I just, I have videos on like going from just casual to committed. Sounds like you guys are already committed. So to that next step, I'll definitely do some videos on that. Thank you, Helena. As usual, you have good topics. Oh, great. I'm glad you guys like this one. Yeah, I recorded a video on it yesterday, and for some reason, I just didn't have any sound. All the other ones were fine, so I just thought I'd do a live stream on it and see what you guys thought. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad you've been watching, and thank you for watching. And I'm already like 10 minutes over, so I feel like I should just close out. You guys have a great night, and I will publish this now. Just keep those 3 questions in mind. And if you're watching this either now or watching the replay, what are your answers to those 3 questions? I would love to hear from you. And yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'll try and do more of these live streams. These are really fun. I always get really nervous to do them, and I almost talk myself out of it. But then once I get started, it's okay. I'm still getting used to it and still getting good at it. So thank you so much, you guys. I love you all, and have a great weekend. And I hope to talk with you again soon.